I'm here to talk about the sisterhood, soul tribes, having the right people around you when you're going through massive life changes, you're up leveling, you're needing more resources and support around you. Okay. And there is nothing like the power of, I call it soul tribe. In my book, Brave, I've got a whole chapter about soul tribe.
Hello and welcome to Brave Conversations. I'm your host, Sheila V. This podcast is all about helping you get brave, courageous, and confident to make real and lasting changes in your life so that, yes, you are living your truth. I'm here to help you navigate your spiritual awakening, to guide you how to heal from trauma in your past, and to manifest the life that you know you deserve. You are powerful, you are divine, and I'm here to remind you that you can achieve anything that you want in your life. I am a transformation coach, a spiritual teacher, a business mentor, a speaker, an author, and a badass brave woman. And I am obsessed with women bravely and courageously showing up to live their life with no apologies. And I cannot wait to get into today's episode with you.
You might refer to it as the sisterhood, and it might have men and women in the tribe. This is not about just women. So, why is it essential to have soul tribe around you? Powerful network of support, influence, resources. When we're going through massive transitions in our life, and I call it up leveling, upgrading, it is inevitable that we are going to need to have a different group of people around us to support us with where we're going. And the current group of people, the current tribe, the current group of people in your life that got you to where you are now may not be the group of people that will support you with where you're going. And this can bring up incredible heartache and grief. When we're having our spiritual awakening, when we're realizing that we need to make massive changes in our life to become authentic and live the life on our own terms, it might involve separation from family, from friends we've known since high school or university days, from when we were very young, who we do not feel in alignment with. And it might feel like heartache and grief, or like we're betraying them and ourselves when we need to let them go. So, this conversation in this podcast is about soul tribe, but I'm firstly addressing who do we need to let go in our life that's no longer in energetic alignment with who we are and where we are going. This can be one of the most painful questions we have to ask ourselves and be honest with ourselves. I've had definite moments in my life where I've needed to let go of groups of friends or particular people in my life, and people have let me go. It's not a one-way street. Maybe my vibration was not high enough for them. It's all about frequency and energy management. And as we ascend on our spiritual path, you might want to call it becoming more authentic to who we are, more honest in the way we're living our life. We are only going to want to be around people that are honest in the way they are living their life. We don't have a tolerance for incongruence. And so being around family and friends, or particularly family that don't want us to change, that don't want us to change our jobs, leave the relationships, or leave that secure and safe world that they relate to us in, they might keep us stuck. And I had this experience in my life, and it took so much strength and will to step into this new version of myself. So, what did that involve for me? Well, I struggled with leaving my corporate executive career and following my spiritual gifts and becoming a psychic medium, writing my book, Brave, eventually becoming a keynote speaker, someone who would do corporate training. I've been on a reality documentary series in Australia. All of this involves so much changes in my life that at some point, yeah, my family were not in alignment with where I was going. They became in alignment eventually, but at critical points when I needed to go forward and lead myself into this new life, there was not always the support there. So it might be one of the most painful experiences to leave your family behind, but it might be one of the most necessary things you need to do. It's the first point I want to make. The second point is you're always going to be moving towards a group of people who are energetically aligned to you, who are vibing at your level, who are a frequency match. We move away from groups of people where there's gossiping, or there's a lot of negative talk, or there's a lot of victim mentality. When you have your awakening and you want to start living an authentic life, we want to be around positive people who are also living their life in alignment with their goals. Who we spend our time with is who we become. But no one really talks about that process of grief and difficulty in deciding who that new group is, or even finding that new group. We need the new group. So how do you let go of the old group and find the new group? Because we all have a I don't belong story. And that's what keeps us stuck with people that don't support us or align with us. So let's unpack this I don't belong story. The I don't belong story might start in our childhood, where we felt different from other people, we were singled out. We felt like because we were different, and you might find you were very sensitive or very psychic, or you might have found you had, creative gifts, highly talkative, or very quiet. Whatever it was, there might have been a moment in your childhood where you felt, I don't belong. You might have looked different, had a different culture, had different colored skin. I had all of this. And so I had this constant feeling I don't belong wherever I was. And I would do anything to belong. That's where my people pleasing behavior started. It started in school. It started with my family. I come from a successful family, and to belong to my family meant being successful in a very traditional way. And so to leave that story behind, I had to start to honor myself. And it was a very confusing time. It's one of the hallmarks of the spiritual awakening process is to realize that belonging to myself was one of the most important steps I had to take forward. Okay. So we need to start to look for people who are in vibrational alignment. Now, I've written in my book, well, we've got to meet people, you've got to get out of the house, right? And the I don't belong story might stop you. So a reframe, and I teach this in my Brave Woman program. I've got a whole kind of module on the I don't belong. But it's in essence, the reframe we need is I need to find ways I do belong. I need to find the common factors I have with people, not the differences. See, when you've got an I don't belong story, what we do is we emphasize the difference between us and everyone else. So let me share with you how I did this. When I was in the corporate world, I kept on saying, I'm too spiritual, I'm different, I'm into crystals and tarot cards. So I would amplify my I don't belong story in the corporate world. When I went and hung out with my spiritual friends, I would say, I'm too corporate for you. You guys are very spiritual, you're very woo-woo. I'm corporate, I'm more mainstream. So it didn't matter where I went, I always found a reason to stay on the outer. It was safer. It's safer because I was never going to be rejected or abandoned if I stayed on the outside of groups. And I've learned as I've gotten older that if I dismantle my I don't belong story, I can belong. So once we start to dismantle the I don't belong story, we lean into socializing, we lean into the invitations, we start to create our own soul tribes, we start to bring sisterhood together, realizing that there is a power in bringing people together where they can be seen and heard. Now, another reason why we need sisterhood, soul tribe around us is when we're going through transitions in our life, the old group that we were spending time with may not support us with where we're going. So I knew I needed to find soul tribe, new people to spend time with when I become an entrepreneur. When I was in the corporate job, I spent time with corporate people. But since becoming an entrepreneur, it was essential. I spent time around entrepreneurs, seeing how they thought, how they spent their time, how they overcome difficulties, adversity, what was their mindset. I needed to spend time with a new group of people, and I had to seek this group out. So I started to ask people around me, do you know anyone that runs mentor groups for entrepreneurs? Is there any groups on Facebook you've seen? You've got to start a line of inquiry with people to start seeking out new groups. When I went on my IVF journey, I started to seek out people that were doing IVF. When I went down a donor egg program, I started to seek other women that had done donor eggs. Every time we're going through transitions in life, we need to seek out a new group of people that have expertise and skills in the area that we need. If you're going through menopause, you need to seek women that are going through menopause. If you're trying to get fit and run a marathon, you want to hang out with people running marathons, right? But the thing is, as people, we like safety and security. We prefer to stick with the old group versus pivoting into new groups. So if you're wanting to pivot in the new year and start to create new goals and visions, alongside goal setting and vision setting, you need to have a group supporting you with that. So, like I said, if you're going to the gym and getting fit, do you have a group at the gym that you become soul tribe with? Can you make friends with people at the gym? It will support you with your goal setting. When I studied my MBA, they taught us that within soul tribes, they didn't call it soul tribes, obviously, then they called it networks. There's three reasons why we have networks. There's three reasons why we know people, okay, and how connections in life add to us. These are the three reasons. The first is support. People give us support when we're going through difficult things, we're going through new experiences, we're going through a crisis that we've never been in before. If you're going through a divorce, you might need to lean on friends that have been through divorce themselves. So support is key. The second is knowledge. Like I said, when I became an entrepreneur, I needed to be around people that had knowledge about running a business successfully. I had to find mentors, women and men around me that were doing this successfully, and they were ahead on the pathway. So knowledge. Where do you need more knowledge, and who has that knowledge? And third is influence. Now, this is an interesting one, and I teach this differently whether I'm speaking to a client who was an entrepreneur versus someone in the corporate world. If you're in the corporate world and you're wanting to get to a senior management role, who do you know that you're connected to at that senior management leadership level? And who can you become friends with? Because they will start giving you information about what it takes to get there, the kind of gaps you might have in your skills, the people you need to start surrounding yourself by. So where you're going will be ahead of you, and they might have influence to help you. So that's the corporate example. Now, when it comes to entrepreneurs, you might need to have influence with understanding new ways of doing business or understanding new ways of selling and marketing and social media. They might have new resources like assistants, social media teams, legal teams, marketing teams. So you might have people around you with resources that they can share with you. Okay, that's influence. So there's so many reasons and ways we need tribe, sisterhood, support, people around us. When we're playing a contracted small game in life, we don't reach out for help and we don't offer help. So to create bigger and bigger networks of support, influence, knowledge, we need to be offering support out in the world. We need to be reaching out into the sisterhood, into the soul tribes. We need to be turning up to the lunches and the coffees and making an effort to get out in the world, which can feel a little challenging still post-COVID. We kind of want to bunker down. We've lost some kind of those socializing skills. We're not as resilient as we once were. And we need to see the benefits. When we create strong sisterhood around us, strong tribe, soul tribe, people around us help us get to our goals and vision. They hold us accountable. They give us information. They inspire us by following their own vision. But remember, there might be a group of people that you need to leave behind, move away from temporarily, to move and create a gap to find new people. And in my life, it's probably been one of the hardest things I've had to go through is the grief of letting go of relationships that no longer serve me. I've had to sit in probably, I call it a vacuum of space where I hadn't really created new friendships and support. And I needed to bring in new people that would support me. And I had to find that. And that involved me putting myself out there. It involved vulnerability, courage to turn up to events where I didn't know anyone. But I would not have published my book. I would not have become a keynote speaker, a mentor, and a coach. I speak and work globally now. None of that would have happened if I did not lean in to creating new tribe, new sisterhood around me. So I hope this has helped you, inspire you to get out there and create new sisterhood, soul tribe around you.
Thank you so much for listening. I love you. I'm filled with gratitude for you. I honor you for choosing you, your personal growth, and your evolution. Thank you for letting me into your world. It has been a privilege. Now, do me one favor, one big thing. Share this podcast with a soul sister or brother who needs to hear this. My mission on planet Earth is to help as many people as possible so we can be bold, be brave, and be courageously ourselves. I'll see you on the next episode.